Welcome back to the lab. Today, we're jumping straight into our explainer on this absolutely mind-bending concept of financial time travel. But look, instead of firing up a DeLorean, we're going to be looking at something much more common and, frankly, a whole lot more dangerous: your standard credit card. We're going to explore exactly how the everyday decisions you make right now literally echo years into your future, completely altering your financial reality.
Okay, so let's dive into this hypothesis right off the bat. Could an impulse buy today actually travel forward in time and cost 10 times as much by the time you pay it off? I mean, can a $5 slice of pizza really end up draining $50 from your bank account? Well, yes, it absolutely can. And this isn't some sort of dark magic or a glitch in the matrix. It's a meticulously designed system known as the interest trap.
You see, most folks out there just treat interest as a mere convenience fee, right? Like a tiny toll you pay to get what you want right now. But our core philosophy here in the lab is entirely different. We treat interest as a predator that we absolutely must actively defend against, because if you don't understand how this predator hunts, well, you're the prey. Our goal with this explainer is to completely break that trap so you can stop being hunted once and for all. Here's our lab protocol for today. We'll cover the financial time machine, dissect the minimum payment mirage, reveal the invisible tax, compare the Snowball and Avalanche escape methods, and end with your lab task action plan. We're moving straight from dissecting the terrifying data to finding the proven cures.
Starting with Section 1, the financial time machine, diagnosing the trap. Let's actually take a look at the very mechanism powering this thing before we try to dismantle it. If you look closely at your credit card statement, you'll see something called the minimum payment warning. Now, banks are legally obligated to show you this warning box. It's sitting right there in black and white, telling you exactly what's going to happen if you only pay the minimum. But because it's buried in fine print, we almost completely ignore it. We willingly walk right into the trap with our eyes wide open, simply because we don't read the map.
Which brings us to Section 2, the minimum payment mirage dissected, the autopsy. The crucial point here really comes down to the exact math. So let's put a $5,000 balance at a standard 22% annual percentage rate, or APR, with a minimum payment of about $125 a month right under the microscope. Look at the sheer scale of time involved here. If you only pay that minimum of $125, it'll trap you for 273 months. Just let that sink in for a second. That is nearly 23 long years of carrying that initial $5,000 balance. You didn't just buy a $5,000 item. You essentially signed up for a 2-decade-long subscription to a mistake. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute horror of what we in the lab call the permanent debt button. By the time that debt is finally wiped out in 23 years, you're going to have paid $7,423 in interest alone. No way, right? But it's true. You literally pay more in predatory interest than the actual cost of the original $5,000 purchase. Let's move to Section 3, the invisible tax revealed, understanding the macro level. We need to zoom out a bit to see exactly why the bank desperately wants you to stay stuck in this trap. It's literally a tug of war, and you are pulling against a giant. APR is the price you pay to borrow, while APY, annual percentage yield, is the price you get paid to save. Just look at this immense negative spread we're seeing in 2026. You have a massive 22% price you pay to borrow money from the bank versus a microscopic 0.01% that the big banks pay you to save your money with them. That massive gap right there, that's exactly where your wealth goes to die. The math here is just brutal. It's totally unforgiving. You're actively losing ground at a rate of 21.99% every single year you carry that balance. Listen to me carefully here. You simply cannot outsave a 22% interest rate. It is mathematically impossible for your tiny 0.01% savings to beat their 22% charge, which means defending against this invisible tax must be your absolute first priority. Defense absolutely must come before offense. On to Section 4, escaping. Snowball versus Avalanche, the antidote. Okay, I know the data looks pretty bleak right now, but don't worry. We have 2 lab-tested cures to help you orchestrate your escape. First up is the snowball method. Picture a rolling snowball just gathering mass and speed. This method is entirely focused on human psychology. You take all your extra cash and attack your absolute smallest balance first, totally ignoring the interest rates. Why? To trigger a psychological dopamine win. If you remember from our week 1 explainer, small early dopamine victories are exactly what keep you motivated. It builds this undeniable momentum to keep you going. Conversely, we have the Avalanche method. For this one, picture a heavy ice shelf crashing down. This method completely ignores psychology and relies on pure, cold, mathematical logic. You target the highest interest rate debt first, regardless of how big or small the actual balance is. Mathematically speaking, this minimizes the total amount of interest you pay over the long run, saving you the absolute maximum amount of money. So, which one should you choose? Well, the lab verdict on this is incredibly clear. If you're a robot, sure, use the Avalanche, but we're human. Actually, if you've ever failed at budgeting or dieting before, the psychological win of crossing an entire account off your list using the Snowball method is far more valuable to your long-term success than the $200 you might mathematically save in interest over 3 years using the Avalanche. When it comes to human behavior, momentum beats math every single time. And that brings us to Section 5, your lab task action plan, the field experiment. It is time to transition from being a passive observer of this explainer to an active participant in your own financial rescue. It is time to stop hiding from the numbers, guys. I want you to build your debt map today using these 4 simple steps. Step 1, open your banking apps and grab your statements. Step 2, grab a piece of paper and list out every single balance, its APR and its minimum payment. Step 3, pick your strategy. Are you a snowball or an avalanche? Pick your target. And step 4, start melting that debt immediately by adding just $10 extra to your target minimum payment this month. Don't wait around. Do it today. Because getting out of the trap, that's really just the beginning. I want you to get your debt map built this week so you can join us next week as we move into the high-yield vault. We're going to completely flip the script and show you how to turn interest from a predator that hunts you into your absolute strongest asset that actually works for you. So what do you say? Are you ready to stop being the prey? Hit subscribe to join the lab, take action on your map today, and I'll see you right back here next week to go on the offense.